Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. I hadn't actually planned to record a video, but I decided to try a technique that I think Sasha Reed had a video about. I will link to hers below. If I say I think, I'm not quite sure whether she actually did it this way. The idea is to create a sort of jig or like a pattern that helps you to stamp the same images again all the way around without buying any fancy gadgets. I know you can get stamping platforms especially for that, where you rotate the stamps. So, and I was just laying these stamps out and I thought, you know what, I'll actually switch the camera on and record this just in case it does work. I'm not even 100% sure. What I've done is here, I have, well, this is actually a die cut piece of cardstock, but the actual one that I'm stamping on, I've just cut with my guillotine. This is 5.5 by 5.5 inches to go on a 5 7/8 by 5 7/8 card. And I have, well, I started off with drawing a cross on here, and then tell you what, I did the diagonals first, and then I did a cross, thinking I might work within this area or just this area. But I decided actually to fill a whole triangle here. I could actually, in hindsight, have put them all at the top because I wasn't quite sure how close I got here. I might move them over in a second, which I can easily do. Just thinking, I don't need to take them off. I just turn this over like this, because then I don't get too close to this edge here. Sometimes it's easier, I think, in my head. So, and what the idea is I'm picking up the stamps now with my stamping platform, and then I can just rotate my card without moving the stamps again and stamp this sort of triangle all the way over. I'm not quite sure how much these sort of lines will be visible. I try to put stamps, well, a little bit closer. I was even thinking whether I want to overlap this a little bit. But for example, the scissors here, I don't want them to interfere with that corner. Well, if I say interfere, sort of overlap, but I can actually see if I go a little bit over there, there will be definitely space there, if you know what I mean. And just going a little bit here. I don't want this to be too obvious that I've kept it within this area. I think I'll just go ahead with that. So, popping the cardstock aside for a moment. These, by the way, this is a stamp set. I bought this deliberately. I don't buy a lot of new stamps, but I bought this because I've got lots of crafty friends that like to knit and embroider and sew. So I thought this would be very useful to make their birthday cards, and this is what this is going to be. So I'm just picking up those stamps. One thing I must do, because these are really, really cheap stamps, they are from Amazon, but they are definitely Chinese, is I need to prep these. What you can do is wipe them or go over it with a cloth, but because I've already stuck them down and forgotten, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink them up and I'm going to stamp them off on some scrap paper. They look actually fairly good, fairly detailed there. So let me just find some scrap paper here. If you don't do that, you might find that the ink pools on the top and you get a very undefined image. A little bit maybe here, but in general, these actually stamp quite nicely. They are just silicone. They're not, you know, the usual polymer stamps I'm used to with like visible image and Lavinia stamps. But yeah, I quite like actually the quality. So now that I've done this, I can take my jig out and place the actual card there, which is here. Making sure I'm aligning it where this was before. By the way, I'm using the VersaFine Clair Bluebell. I think I will do something to the background afterwards, as in do a bit of ink blending as well. But in general, I thought I'd just start and stamp this in blue. I really want this to just be the background for whatever I'm putting on the front. So, just applying a little bit of pressure. I might actually get my stamping buddy out, just as a doorknob with some felt. With these silicone stamps, I try not to apply too much pressure. I don't want to squash them, but a little bit of pressure is nice. See, I've missed bits there now, so maybe it's better to stamp or apply the pressure individually. I noticed this before, the scissors don't seem to stamp properly. I think they weren't taking the ink well either. So I could ink them up again. I'll just try that just to ink up the scissors here. I don't want any ink on any others. I don't want to risk over stamping them. Yeah, I think it's a stamp. Sometimes it could be something underneath the cardstock, but I'm not bothering too much. So, what I need to do now is basically rotate this, place this on again, just making sure there's nothing underneath there. What I could do, if I wanted to start over again, is place some extra card underneath, give it a cushion. But I don't want the next bit of stamping to look different to this, so I'm just leaving it like this. So, and I'm just inking this up again. So I won't do it with a pressure tool now. We'll just use my thumb on every area here individually. Yeah, it's the scissors. Yeah, it's not too bad, but then you get some double stamping, but never mind. Press this a little bit on. The good thing with a VersaFine Clair is it stays wet a little bit longer, so you can just press down again. Yeah, so and now I'm going to do this 2 more times, and then I've got the pattern all over. So yeah, I'm really happy with this now. So it's just the scissors here that don't look too good, but I might just put the sentiment there depending on what top I put on the over the card. So I just thought I'll leave it as a short video. I will create the rest of the card off camera, and then I'll just show you in, well, either tonight. I'll finish either tonight, or I'll show you tomorrow. For you it will just be a few seconds how I have finished the card. So my card is finished. Apologies that I didn't record the process. I wasn't in the mood and I wanted to just get this card done for myself, but I'll talk you through what I have done. So after I stamped the background, I ink blended over this just with 2 different blues. I used the Della blue for the outside and then came in with a blue lagoon in the middle. Very basic ink blending just with my ink blending brush. And then I used just my water spray bottle for a few spritzes here. I don't know if the camera picks them up, but I find that always gives a nice texture and blends the colours in a bit more nicely. And then I had the idea to put this through an embossing folder, and I've got this one. This is a Sam Calcott one. It's actually an 8x8 embossing folder, but I cut mine down because I've only got a 6-inch wide die cutting machine, so just used a heat tool, not like a heat tool for heat embossing, but like a pyrography tool to cut this down. And yeah, I thought this mimicked a little bit this sort of knitting. I could have chosen other patterns, but I thought that went really nicely with it. So I just stuck that down, and then I created this topper just from scalloped oval. I printed this lot of wool again, the 2 balls of wool here, and I just coloured these in with a mix of, I used my small stencil brush and the Blue Lagoon again, and then I just used one of my crayons. This is the Black Widow crayon, just to go around the edges a little bit, just to catch those really. And I tried to not use my usual go-to words, so I found this happy birthday sentiment. It looks a bit wonky actually when I stamped it, but it doesn't matter. And then for the 70, the lady will turn 70. I have just done same sort of ink blending, just 2 colours very randomly, spritzed it again for this speckled look, and then just die cut the 70 and stuck it down. I thought about matting it, but I think the combination of the blue and white is actually quite nice and just enough. And yeah, not the super showstopper card, but I think it's a lovely card and the lady will appreciate it because she really likes her knitting. And yeah, I think it's quite personal in that respect. Yeah, and if you like this technique, as I said, I will link to Sasha Reed's video below. And if you like the card, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, yes, usually I record the full process, just not tonight, then you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.